Hello everyone, this is Persephone and today's video is called the atrocious beta nice guy, or should it be the repulsive beta nice guy? I was really tempted to call it the repulsive Asian beta nice guy, but people are going to start saying, you're a racist, Persephone, not every Asian guy is like that, Persephone. But you know, if it's 99% of Asian guys but not 100%, because you know Jeremy Long exists, we cannot generalize because we are racist. So anyway, I want to talk to you about something that many male YouTube channels that they talk about the red pill and how to be a proper man, they discuss, but they never get to the depth of the cancer, okay? Because it's like a cancerous problem. So today you're going to hear exclusive info from the other side, the female side, that no one is going to tell you. If you find yourself exhibiting one or more of the traits that they are on this video, you are your own doom, okay? Before we start, I'm always going to be saying that this video refers to men of at least average height, at least average penis size, at least average income. If you have a 2-inch penis, chastity vasectomy serving a goddess. If you're 5 feet tall, chastity vasectomy serving a goddess. If you are living with your mom at age 62, chastity vasectomy, getting to jobs, serving a goddess. Okay, you need to have some hope to actually find a partner, and if you don't, there's no point to continue watching further, okay? So, today we're going to talk about the nice guy who is finding himself in position where he's saying, women hate me, all women are evil, they're crazy, they don't know what they want, or my ex was a bitch. And usually the nice guy is sharing those things on the first date with a new woman, so that you know that he has more baggage than the airport station. And he doesn't know how his life is in the gutter. How did he end up in the gutter? I'm going to tell you how you ended up in the gutter today. The profile of the nice guy, let's start from the background, his family. It's always the same story. By always, I'm going to say 100% in this case. And all of my subs and all of the men that come to me for advice have the same background. Bitchy, controlling, nagging mom, and physically or mentally absent, weak, cucked dad. Okay, there is always this mom, she's the head of the household, everyone knows it. The dad usually says, your mother has menopause, she's doing crack, she's mentally ill, you know, just don't piss her off, let's all try to accommodate her, please. Or the dad works 2 jobs and he comes home to just pass out in front of a TV, drinking beer, and you don't even know him, he doesn't even know you, he's too busy trying to survive and to not die, and the mom is controlling everything. Amplify the problem if you have sisters, especially older sisters, and they're trying to tell you and indoctrinate you on how to be a good guy and how to be nice to women, and telling you bullshit that if you do them, supposedly you're going to have success with women, and in reality, if you do them, you're going to be so doomed. So doomed. Women won't be touching you even with a 10-foot pole, okay? And you won't be knowing why, because what happened? You know, why did those people teach you those things when in reality they're not going to work? I'm going to tell you some things you're not going to like. Your mom and your sisters look primarily for their convenience and their easy life. So they want a brother or a son who's accommodating, and usually he's doing the shit that the dad is not doing. So, Aide, stop. Because of that, they're going to teach you that if you're subservient, if you are the guy who does everyone's work, if you're the guy who's volunteering to deal with the shit that no one else wants to deal with at work or at home, you're going to be appreciated. That couldn't be further away from the truth. You want a crazy example of how the world works? Look at me. If you see me from an objective viewpoint, I bring nothing to the table, yet I have to say that I've dated so many men who proposed to me that my friends used to say diamond girl, when there were women who were marriage material and no one wants them. Even up to this day, they're spinsters. So if the world was a fair place and the more we worked, the more we were rewarded, you wouldn't be this position. But it's not. A worse case that actually involves domestic abuse is ever since you were a little boy, you're being punished very harshly, physically or mentally, because your main caretaker, usually the controlling mother we mentioned, was insane, okay? She would be someone that she would punish you, hit you every time you misbehave, and you would be afraid of her, and there wouldn't be a male role model to pretty much tell her off, you know, tell her that you need to stop your bullshit, or I'm going to leave you some man to set a boundary. As a result, because kids are not intellectually mature to understand that it's not their fault, they start to internalize that. They start to think that, wow, the abuse is my fault, so I have to stop it. And children have various coping mechanisms that they help them survive when they're little, but when you become an adult man, they're very maladaptive and they don't help you be successful with women. To use an example for myself, people say, you are hilarious. Jason, what are we going to do with the dog? Lucy, you have to stop. You have to stop. People say, you're hilarious, you're so funny, I love your videos, and I'm laughing every time I died, and so on. And I really appreciate that, but I have had enough therapy to know that my dark humor was a coping mechanism, because ever since I was a kid, I realized that when people laughed around me, there was less abuse. And if you ask me, was there any specific moment where you realize that? No, there isn't any, but I know it's there. I know that my first response, even to the biggest tragedy, is make jokes. So in a similar way, the nice guy somehow became a people pleaser. So he realized, usually what happens in the cases with the men I'm talking to, which is hundreds of different men every month, is that he realizes that if the mom doesn't know, it's not going to harm him. Let's just hide it. If I did something bad, I'm going to hide it. If I believe something bad, I'm going to hide it. I want to be liked. When the females around me, the first females, the mom, the sisters, the extended family, like me, I win. When they don't like me, I lose. And this starts to happen for the child to survive. And when you are an adult man, you start thinking, I'm not going to tell her whatever is going to upset her, which is the embodiment of Confucian bullshit, that I'm just going to hide it, she's not going to know, and even if she does know, she's going to be upset for a bit, and then we're going to be fine. And of course that doesn't work in the real world. Okay, so you are an adult man, women don't like you, or women see you as a friend. You have this woman that you have been helping with her homework. Let's say you're at college, you have been driving here, you bought her groceries when she didn't have money, you paid for her plane ticket to go home if she's an international student, and so on. And you think that at some point she's going to appreciate you, she's going to see how much of a golden heart you have, and she ends up raw dogging the guy who's a jailbird and has 3 baby mamas on the side. And then you're thinking, whoa, the fact has happened now, you know? Or she ends up dating you and then cheating on you. So this happens because I'm not going to start saying the usual shit that I'm saying, that women are biologically programmed to be attracted to murderers and psychopaths, although it is true. I'm going to say that whatever is easily available ends up being worthless or almost worthless. That's human nature. So if a girl knows that you're going to be her emotional tampon, you're going to be there all the time, you're going to be her unpaid therapist / cook / chauffeur, so on, she's not going to think much of you. And you're going to say, Persephone, am I going to start living my life playing a character? No, I'm not going to say you should be a character, but I'm saying you should stop being a doormat. Because so many nice guys are professional full-time doormats, and every time they get rejected, they become professional full-time victims. And because I don't like to speak in general, I'm going to again use my own bullshit as an example. So when I met Kim told me years later that the way they were dealing with problems in his household ever since he was a kid was by not dealing with them, by pretending that the problem didn't exist, or by hiding that the problem existed. So Kim is a very strong example of a nice guy. And I say this, that Kim is one of the most handsome Asian guys that I've met in the past. And eventually I was really excited to date him, and his behavior was so atrociously unattractive that I lost all attraction to him. And if you're going to say, how did this happen? I'm going to focus on what's related to this video. So Kim told me that when he was a kid, he found a pair of panties on his dad's car, and he brought it to his mom thinking it was hers. And his mom started screaming and punished him. And then, to make a long story short, his father was cheating. His father is still cheating, I am so sure of it, half a century later. So apparently he was having sex with some kind of woman on his car, or escort, I don't know, and she left her panties there. I don't know if it was another gift or she genuinely forgot them, but that's what happened. And his mother, because she's like worse looking than a dog that has rabies and needs to be put down, she didn't want to divorce. So pretty much Kim was extremely harshly punished for pointing out the cheating, although he was 5 or 6 at the time. And as a result, he was trained by her that every time something happens that the woman is going to be upset, I need to hide it. Of course, that creates two problems. Problem number one is every time the woman discovers a lie, she's losing attraction for you. And it happened to me big time. I consider it extremely feminine, extremely repulsive to see a man who will never take responsibility for any of his faults. He will never admit any of his faults and he's going to be blaming others. I find this extremely repulsive. And second, it creates resentment on the person who constantly has to hide and lie and pretend there is nothing going on, because nice guys cannot also express their needs. So what happens is you tolerate the woman, you act as her servant, thinking that you're going to get love. You don't get love back. And you end up more and more bitter, more and more heartbroken, and it continues relationship after relationship, if you have a relationship. If you are a more serious case, it could be rejection after rejection, that women exploit you, take your stuff, take your time, and then move on to the next guy while you're sitting there. I want to tell you something. What happened in your childhood, they say that for a lot of healing, what happened in your childhood was not your problem and it was not your fault. But what happens today, it's your responsibility to outgrow it. So if you are the guy who is trying to be the unpaid slave for everyone, and not in the hot sexual femdom way, but in the slavery wasn't abolished after all way, and you wonder why women don't like you, that could be a very serious reason why. And unfortunately, because news spread in small towns, in the workplace, on the internet, if you start having a reputation of a nice guy, it's extremely difficult to get rid of it. You have to go into fraud maxing mode. Like I said, you have to go to a different town and start from scratch, because even if you ascend in your looks, even if you become a child, even if you become a millionaire, you're just going to attract better gold diggers, you know? You're going to attract people who are going to say, this guy is so beta, like, yeah, go get the bag, you have him, and you're going to be victimized again. On a practical note, if you can afford cognitive behavioral therapy, and not just random therapy that they're going to give you so often, they're going to tell you to pray for a miracle, like a Joker type of therapy, if you can afford cognitive behavioral therapy, go for it. Many therapists don't know it, they don't recommend it because they don't know it, they don't want you to lose you as a client, but for me, and I've done every type of therapy that exists, if there is therapy, I've been there ever since I was a kid, it was one of the main things that helped me with a lot of autistic traits. So I recommend it. I'm not going to recommend you a specific therapist because I have people from all over the world watching me. You can just start by going to your main physician and say, I'm interested in finding someone for CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, and not cock and ball torture, and give it a try. Usually it's also short term. It's not you sitting on a couch crying about how much of a bitch your mom was, and it has results. Okay. The second thing that you need to do, and that's very, very crucial, is acknowledging that you are also part of the problem. If I had $1 every time a man accused me that I'm a heartless bitch because I stopped being attracted to him, I would be a multi-billionaire. Okay. And I am also part of the problem because of my anxious / insecure / avoidant, I don't even know, attachment style that makes me want to leave every time things turn sour. But whatever people see you tolerating is whatever they're going to assume you deserve. Which means one of my problems that got me victimized over and over and over in the last 2 years with the Kims is that I didn't kick their ass the first or the second time that they abused me, especially the tapeworm, my mother-in-law. So she realized that it's okay to treat me this way, and she's going to get away with it because the first time I didn't do what I should have done, and it was not to bang her head against the wall, it was to actually fly over there and file a report for stalking and harassment, which I didn't do because Kim started telling me the nice guy bullshit that she's just my mom, she's going to come around, just let it go, just hide your anger, because you know he has been hiding his anger all of his life, and how has that served him? Not very well. So what I'm saying is that you have to accept that you are creating the behavior that you see in women that you don't want, which means you have a set of actions and a set of things in your past history that made women not like you, not be attracted to you, and that has to change. And it doesn't have to be two extremes. Either I'm the doormat, either I'm the guy who is actually becoming victimized financially, emotionally, in every way for the women, or I'm the thug, the criminal who's actually exploiting and ripping off women. There is a silver lining. Is it easy to find it? No. Does it take trial and effort? Yes. I will say what I say in every video, people need to hear it. If you go to bars and clubs and Tinder and places where people take ecstasy and places where people film orgies to post on porn sites and get paid, and you're saying, I can't find a girlfriend, you can't find a girlfriend because you're stupid, and I'm not even sorry. You need to go to places where women are mentally healthy. Start from places where women volunteer. You should also volunteer. There are things that you can volunteer in every area of the planet. Animal shelters, senior citizens. You can go spend time with an older person who's alone and his family doesn't visit often. And one day he's mentioning to his super cute granddaughter who wants to come meet you, and then she meets you, and then she's not a freak who takes ecstasy and has 3 black boyfriends. And I don't say this in a sense of black men being inferior, not at all. I'm just saying, once a woman has big black hawk, she's not going to come to look at you and your 5-incher in a good day. Okay, realistically speaking. So what you're going to have to do is start looking for women who are relatively healthy, and then you're not going to repeat past history by being a doormat and a disgusting person, which means we're going to use practical examples to help everyone understand. Let's say you are at work and your girlfriend is calling you and she's having some type of problem, okay? And the problem is something stupid. She had a fight with your mom and she needs emotional support. The nice guy is going to say to her, I'm going to call you after I'm done with work. He truly calls her after he's done with work, and he's saying to her firmly and decisively that I'm really sorry you have this problem, but please, I need you in the future to call me at work only when there is a medical emergency. I'm telling you, that's the only solid reason to call someone at work. Your problems about your best friend being a bitch or your mom being a bitch or something equally stupid doesn't count. You're going to say, okay, Persephone, isn't that common sense? No, it's not common sense. Because the incel or almost incel nice guy is going to think, if I tell her that, I'm going to lose her. She's going to be mad at me, she's going to break up with me, and somehow I have to keep pleasing her. So he's accepting all of that bullshit at work. Eventually people are fed up with him at work, they fire him, and then the girlfriend leaves anyway because she has no money. The normal guy is going to set a boundary and enforce it. And let me tell you something. If a woman is so psycho that she feels that she can call you any time of the night, any time of the day, and burden you with a bullshit, that woman is most likely a narcissist and you dodge the bullet anyway. If a woman is a normal person who just had a bad decision, she's going to apologize and she's not going to do it again. So it's a shit test for her too. Men can also shit test, okay? If you were the asshole, I would say you should tell her, be casual on the first date and not even tell her where you work and say, you know, I had crazy women stalking me at work, so I don't want to tell you. But I'm realistic here, there are nice guys watching me this video and we can talk about this level of advanced techniques, okay? If you come from a place where you're an incel and you have deprivation and you have a scarcity mindset, I'm not going to tell you have an abundant mindset. You go from deprived to normal, then to abundant. You can just skip the entire process. You know what I mean? So it all starts from knowing yourself. And if you don't know yourself, try something for the first time and see how you feel. If you feel resentment, if you feel being upset, if you feel that it doesn't work for you, don't do it again. Something that I learned, that I read it somewhere, unfortunately I don't remember where, and it has helped me become extremely likable. In my much younger days, when I was like the Rain Man, the female version, is that people would come to me with problems and I would give solutions, because usually the problems that they had, they were very easy for me to solve from an outside perspective, which of course is the autistic perspective, because it's not so easy for them. What do I mean by that? Let's say that my mother comes to me. I don't really have a relationship with my mother. I'm going to say an example from my childhood though, when I was still living with her. Let's say I was 12 and I was doing my homework, and she would come home and she would be upset and she would say, I didn't eat all day, I'm exhausted, I had so many things to do. And I would say to her, you know, it's your fault because you don't do like good time management during the weekend. You should have bought the groceries during the weekend, and today you wouldn't have to go to the grocery store 3 times in one day. And she would hit me and punish me. What I realized, and like I said, I had to read it, is that many times people don't want you to solve their problem. She already feels bad and she already knows that she had bad time management. So what she wants to hear is me saying, oh, I'm really sorry to hear that. Is there anything I can do to help you? And when I was autistic, I think, again, I'm still autistic, high functioning autistic now, that's what I pretend to be. I would say, what the fuck? Like, who the fuck cares about this bullshit? She needs a time management. Should I go buy her a calendar to write down what she has to do? But that's what she needed. So when someone comes to me now and they have a problem, I'm asking her, or him, whoever is saying the problem, do you want me to try to solve it with you? Do you want me to help you with something specific? Or do you want me to simply listen to you? And let me tell you something, 8 times out of 10, women just want me to listen to them. They don't want the solution. Deep down, people know, in most cases, what they have to do. And they just want someone to listen to them. And I have people who are asking me. I made a post recently, you can see it on my community section of YouTube, where OnlyFans sent me a notification saying you're on the top 27% of all creators. Like, you're kicking ass, top 27% of everyone who's using OnlyFans. And I'm not going to talk about nudes, lewds, like sessions and stuff like that I have there. I'm going to talk about the people who message me for advice and then tip me. And people are asking, what are you doing? What kind of magic are you doing there? And people are paying you so much. I'm going to tell you 8 times out of 10, I just sit there and listen. I listen and I don't interrupt the person, and it's something that they need so much. We have so many people that they just wanted someone to listen to them all of their lives, and no one give a fuck about them. But by listen, I mean I really listen and don't just wait for my turn to talk, which is another cancerous form of pseudo-listening. So if you're a nice guy, the first thing you can do, if you want to change something today, is start asking this question. Can I help you, or do you want me to just listen to you? And if someone says, I want you to listen to me, and they are a good person or they are a healthy person, eventually when you have a problem, they should ask you the same, or they should be there for you. Don't be around women, don't keep around women who just take and take and take and give nothing back out of fear that you're going to lose them. Just because your mom was a bitch, or just because your sister was a bitch, doesn't mean that everyone on the planet is a bitch or that you deserve that. Nice guys very often feel worthless. They feel that that's the best that they can deserve. And I said that to him and he didn't like it. I told him, you turned our marriage into a joke. You turned our marriage into a lying, deceiving, disgusting relationship because you felt that that's the best you can get on a subconscious level. And he didn't want to admit that, but eventually he admitted that. He said, I didn't know there was something better than that something better than that was possible. How much low self-esteem can you have to settle in a relationship based on a lie or on multiple lies? Ask yourself, what are you settling with? Do you feel that finding a woman is so impossible that you're going to tolerate even a morbidly obese, ruined land whale who's just practically stealing your money? And if the answer is yes, then, like I said, it's time for cognitive behavioral therapy and to examine where you came from, why you ended up this way, and to change them. And usually when you start to change, the people who have been exploiting you for years, aka your family or your friends, they're going to start being very judgmental. So if you want a sign that good change is on the way, people are going to start telling you, you've really changed. This therapist said you need to quit it, it's making you an asshole. Or, oh my God, is that you? Or like my father loves to say, we didn't raise you this way. And I said, yeah, you raised me to be an unpaid caretaker, you're right. So guess what, I quit that job. And he would say, we didn't raise you to be that way. Because, you know, my father wants someone that after he dies, I'm going to be the undertaker in the family operation. And by undertaker, I mean my father recently has been in 4 funerals in 4 days. 4 funerals, some are on the extended family, and some were people who he knows, they're friends of friends, and because he got victimized, he attends those funerals too. So I'm telling him, if I wanted undertaking as a business, I would be a mortician. Actually, there was a time where someone suggested to my father to start a funeral home, and he was very offended because he's superstitious and he doesn't like that. But for me, funeral homes are a very good business investment because people are always going to be dying, so you always have customers. But okay, that's not related to the video. My point is, if you find yourself acting this way, coming from this background, it's not the women you meet, it's who you are. And if you don't change, if you don't try to do the hard work with yourself, you're going to be attracted to women who are going to be exploiters over and over and over. And you have to break the circle. You know, you could be 20 and being attracted to those parasites, and you could be 60 and you could still be attracted to those parasites. And then you see those bitter older men who are saying, all women are the same. I don't even want to try to date anymore. I deleted my apps. I'm going my own way. It's not that all the women are the same. It's all the women you attract. Yeah, they are the same. So you have to stop attracting them. Do you know what I mean? So that's all for today. I plan to make more videos about beta men. And remember, if your penis is 3 inches, remove yourself from the gene pool today. Plan your vasectomy today. Doesn't matter if you're going to meet the best woman tomorrow. Use a sperm donor if you need children. Find a single mom if you need children. You should not pass down your 3-inch penis and doom your son in a life of inceldom exactly like you. Okay, thank you for watching.